Welcome back to the training series. In the previous lessons, we learned how to diagnose problems and identify whether a phone has a software issue or hardware failure. But today, we are going to prepare something very important: your digital workbench. Let me ask you a simple question. Have you ever connected a phone to your computer, but nothing happened? No connection. No device detected. And sometimes Windows shows an error saying, USB device not recognized. Very frustrating, right? Now imagine trying to flash a phone, or unlock a bootloader, or repair software, but your computer cannot even see the phone. At that point, it doesn't matter how good your repair tools are. Your flashing software will fail. Your repair box will fail. Everything will fail. So why does this happen? Why can't the computer recognize the phone? The answer is simple. Your computer does not understand the phone's language. Think of it like two people trying to communicate. One person speaks English, the other speaks Chinese. Without a translator, they cannot understand each other. In the world of phone repair, that translator is called a drivers allow your computer to communicate with the phone's chipset. And today, we will install the most important drivers used in Android repair. We will also install ADB and fastboot tools, which allow your computer to control Android devices. By the end of this lesson, your computer will be ready to communicate with almost any Android phone in the world. So let's begin with the first important step. And this step might surprise many beginners. We must temporarily disable a Windows security restriction. The master key, disabling driver signature enforcement. Before installing repair drivers, there is something important you must understand about Windows. Windows only likes drivers that are officially signed by Microsoft. But many professional mobile repair drivers are not officially signed, and because of that, Windows blocks them. So if you try installing them normally, they will either fail or install incorrectly. And when drivers install incorrectly, your flashing tools will never detect the phone. So how do professional technicians solve this problem? They temporarily disable something called driver signature enforcement. Let me guide you step by step. First, open Windows Settings, Update, and Up. Security. Next, select Recovery. Now look for the option called Advanced Startup, and click Restart Now. Your computer will restart and show a blue troubleshooting screen. Don't worry, this is completely normal. Now choose the following options: Troubleshoot, then Advanced Options, then Startup Settings. Finally, click Restart Again. When the computer starts again, you will see a list of options. Press F7, which means Disable Driver Signature Enforcement. Now let me ask you something important. Why do we need to do this? Because many phone repair drivers like MTK VCOM or Qualcomm 9008 will not install properly without this step. This is one of the first secrets professional technicians learn. Without it, half your repair tools will fail silently. Now that Windows is ready, let's install the most important drivers used in smartphone repair. Installing chipset drivers. MTK, Qualcomm. Every smartphone has something called a chipset. You can think of the chipset as the engine of the phone. Different manufacturers use different chipsets, and each chipset requires a specific driver to communicate with the computer. Let's start with one of the most common chipsets used in budget smartphones: MediaTek. MediaTek chipsets are often found in phones from brands like Xiaomi, Oppo, Vivo, Tecno, Infinix. These phones require something called the VCOM driver. The VCOM driver allows the computer to detect MediaTek phones while they are powered off. Why is this important? Because many MTK flashing tools communicate with the phone before it even boots. Now let's talk about another very powerful chipset: Qualcomm Snapdragon. Qualcomm phones use a special driver called Qualcomm HS USB QD Loader 908. This driver allows communication with phones in EDL mode. EDL means Emergency Download Mode. Let me ask you something. What happens if a phone is completely dead? No logo, no vibration, no boot. Many beginners think the phone is permanently dead, but professional technicians know something different. Sometimes the phone is still alive in EDL mode. And with the QD Loader 9008 driver, we can bring that phone back to life. Now let's talk about Samsung phones. Samsung devices require their own driver, called the Samsung USB driver. This driver allows communication with tools like Odin for flashing Samsung firmware. Once these drivers are installed, your computer will recognize almost any Android chipset. But we are not done yet. Next, we must install the most powerful Android communication tool, ADB and Fastboot. Fastboot. Now let's install two tools that every Android technician must know, ADB and Fastboot. ADB stands for Android Debug Bridge. ADB allows your computer to communicate with a phone while Android is running. With ADB you can install apps, remove system apps, reboot the phone, capture logs, transfer files. But sometimes Android cannot boot normally, and this is where Fastboot becomes useful. Fastboot communicates with the phone while it is in bootloader mode. Using Fastboot you can unlock bootloaders, flash partitions, repair boot issues. Now here's a question for you. What happens if you install ADB tools, but Windows cannot find them when you run commands? You will get an error message saying, ADB is not recognized as an internal or external command. To fix this, you must add ADB, DB, to the system path. Professional technicians usually install 15-second ADB installer or the official Google platform tools. Once installed correctly, you can open command prompt anywhere and type ADB devices. And if everything is working, your computer will show the phone's serial number. But before celebrating, we must perform one final test. The final test, verifying your setup. Now let's confirm that everything is working correctly. Take your Android phone and open Settings. Then go to About Phone. Find the build number and tap it 7 times. This activates Developer Options. Now go back and open Developer Options. Next, connect the phone to your computer. A message will appear on the phone asking, Allow USB debugging? Press Allow. Now open your computer's device manager. Look for Android ADB interface or Qualcomm HS USB. Most importantly, make sure there is no yellow warning triangle. If there are no errors, congratulations, your digital workbench is ready. You can now communicate with Android phones, flash firmware, repair software issues, and recover brick devices. And tomorrow, we will start performing our first real phone maintenance tasks. If this lesson helped you understand Android repair setup, please support the channel by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and turning on notifications. Because in the next lesson, we will start Master the Software